Welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because we're diving into a genuinely fascinating story. It's an ancient tale of deception, survival, and the really profound dynamics of friendship. If you've ever wondered how to tell your true friends from the people who are, well, just waiting to take advantage of you, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's just jump right in. The text gives us this core idea: testing a friend in adversity. It's such a simple phrase, right? But it packs a massive punch. I mean, it's super easy to have friends when the sun is shining and everything's going your way. But as you'll see in this story, true loyalty, the kind that actually matters, is only ever proven when things go horribly, terribly wrong. Before we meet our cast of characters, we really need to understand where they're coming from. Our source material today is the Mithyapariksha. It's an ancient Indian collection of Sanskrit fables. Now, you might hear animal fables and think, oh, a children's book. But actually, scratch that. Historically, collections like this were highly sophisticated manuals. They used animal archetypes to teach young princes and nobles about political strategy, statecraft, and honestly, how to navigate the incredibly complex and often treacherous landscape of human relationships. Section 1. Welcome to the Mithyapariksha. Section 2. The Deer and the Jackal. You know, the beauty of these ancient fables is just how perfectly they translate to human nature, regardless of what century you live in. We're going to look at a specific story that acts as a literal blueprint for identifying manipulators. So let's dive into this. Our stage is a vibrant, dense forest, and our main cast consists of three very distinct personalities. What's absolutely brilliant here is the etymology. The original authors baked dramatic irony right into the original Sanskrit names. The crow is named Subudhi, which translates to good sense or the wise friend. The jackal is named Kshudrabudhi, meaning evil or selfish intent. And then we have the unnamed deer, who represents the innocent target. As the audience, we know exactly who the traitor is the second they walk on stage, while the poor, trusting deer remains completely clueless. So here is how the trap is set. The jackal is looking for a good meal. He spots this plump, healthy deer and decides, I'm going to play the long game. He sidles up and fakes this deep, instant friendship. Now the crow, Subudhi, our wise friend, sees this happening and immediately drops a warning. He tells the deer, hey, do not trust strangers who suddenly want to be your best friend. But the jackal, he's a master manipulator. He twists the crow's words, paints the crow as this huge cynic, and completely convinces the deer that their new friendship is meant to be. Once the deer is isolated from the crow's good advice, the jackal leads him right to a lush crop field. The bait is officially set. Section 3. Trapped in the net. Boom, the trap snaps shut. The deer, totally blinded by his new friendship and the promise of a free meal, walks right into a farmer's snare. This is the climax of our story, and it's absolutely brilliant. Picture where everyone is positioned in this exact moment of crisis. We have the deer, absolutely terrified and tangled in the net. Over in the bushes, entirely safe and hidden away, is a jackal. Up in the tree, frantically assessing the situation, is the crow. And marching in right toward them is the angry farmer wielding a heavy stick. The crisis has arrived, and everyone's true colors are instantly revealed. The deer looks over to the bushes and desperately begs his so-called best friend for help. He's like, please, gnaw through these ropes, save me. And the jackal, looking right back at him, delivers just this absolute masterpiece of an excuse. He says, it's my fasting day. I cannot touch the animal sinews of this net. I mean, just take a second to appreciate the sheer hypocrisy of that line. We are talking about a literal meat-eating predator, an animal that rips apart flesh with its teeth every single day, suddenly citing strict religious piety and dietary restrictions purely to avoid helping a friend in need. It's darkly hilarious, but it's also a perfectly accurate representation of how manipulators act when you actually need them to step up. Think about the stark contrast between these two characters. On one hand, we have the true friend. When the deer didn't come home, the crow didn't just shrug and say, oh well, he actively flew out at dusk, frantic, putting himself at major risk just to find him. On the other hand, we have the schemer. The jackal isn't just refusing to help, he is quietly hiding right there in the bushes, actively waiting for the farmer to brutally kill the deer so he can waltz in and feast on the remains. It is the ultimate example of parasitic self-interest. Section 4. A clever escape plan. But hey, all hope is not lost. The crow spots the trapped deer from the sky, swoops down, and realizes they literally have mere seconds before the farmer arrives to finish the job. So the crow lays out a brilliant, incredibly high-stakes survival strategy. Step 1. The deer must play completely dead. Not a flinch, not a breath. Step 2. He needs to inhale deeply and puff up his belly so he looks horribly bloated, like a carcass that's been sitting out in the sun. Step 3. The crow will sit in a nearby tree, and the exact second he lets out a loud caw, the deer must spring to life and run for the forest. I mean, imagine the immense self-control required here. You are terrified, tangled in a net, watching a man walk toward you with a club, and your only defense is to inflate your stomach and freeze. The tension right now is just agonizing. The angry farmer arrives at the edge of the crop field. He looks down at the deer, he sees the rigid legs, the glazed eyes, the deeply bloated stomach. And you know what? The deception actually works. The farmer mutters to himself in absolute disgust, assuming the animal died overnight. Believing he has absolutely nothing to worry about, the farmer bends down and completely removes the heavy net just to salvage his ropes. And then the trap is sprung in reverse. Let's track this timeline. 0 seconds, the net is off, and the crow drops the warning call. 1 second, the supposedly dead deer explodes off the ground, springing to life and sprinting toward the tree line. 2 seconds, the farmer, shocked and completely furious at being tricked, violently hurls his heavy wooden stick at the fleeing deer. 3 seconds, the stick sails through the air, completely misses the sprinting deer, but crashes violently into the bushes right where that treacherous jackal was hiding, striking him dead. Section 5. The ultimate moral lesson. Wow, just what a sequence, right? Because stories like this in the Mithyapariksha aren't just about the thrill of a great escape. They are really about understanding the mechanics of consequence. The crucial concept here is instant karma. Notice how the story doesn't just end with the deer getting away. It meticulously ensures that the jackal is destroyed by the exact scenario, the exact trap he orchestrated for someone else. The text uses this sudden, violent resolution to teach a timeless principle. Malicious deception inevitably loops back to destroy the deceiver. Think about it. The jackal's own greedy patience is exactly what kept him sitting right in the path of the farmer's club. And this is exactly why this matters for us today. This isn't just some fun story about forest animals. It is a powerful lens for evaluating our own relationships. We all have a Subhuti in our lives, that wise friend who tells us the hard truths we really don't want to hear, who warns us when we are moving way too fast with a new connection. And unfortunately, many of us will eventually encounter a Kushrabhuti, the charmer who isolates us, flatters us, and totally convinces us to walk right into a trap for their own benefit. We have to learn to recognize those warning signs way before the net actually falls. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a really close look at your own life right now. Look at the people you invest your time and your trust into. Who is actually standing by you when the chips are down? And who always seems to have a totally convenient excuse when you actually need them? Ask yourself, who are the jackals in your own inner circle? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay observant, and I'll catch you next time.